Congratulations! No, really, I mean it. You've made it. You've arrived. You're exactly where they wanted you to be. Look at you, sitting there, comfortable, safe, predictable. You wake up at the same time, you drink the same coffee, you take the same route, you think the same thoughts, you feel the same fears. And you call this freedom? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that truly scared you? Not the fake fear of watching a horror movie, not the artificial anxiety of checking your bank account. I'm talking about the bone-deep terror of the unknown, the kind that makes you feel alive. Can't remember? Of course you can't, because somewhere along the way, someone or something convinced you that comfort is the goal, that safety is success, that predictability is paradise. And you bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. You're not a wild animal anymore. You're a pet. A well-trained, obedient, domesticated pet. Don't believe me? Let's test it. Tell me, what would happen if you didn't show up to work tomorrow? Just didn't go? What would happen if you threw your phone in the ocean? What would happen if you packed a bag and left everything behind? Feel that tightness in your chest? That's not anxiety. That's your cage. You feel it, don't you? The invisible bars, the ones you can't see but can definitely feel. They're made of obligations, expectations, bills, responsibilities, social pressure, the fear of what people might think. And the worst part? You built this cage yourself, brick by brick, choice by choice, compromise by compromise. Every time you said, maybe next year, every time you chose safety over uncertainty, every time you killed a dream because it wasn't realistic, every time you traded adventure for approval, you built this. And now you're standing inside it, wondering why everything feels so small. But here's where it gets interesting. The truly brilliant part of modern domestication isn't that they lock you up. It's that they convinced you that the cage is freedom. They put a TV in there, a comfortable couch, fast food delivery, Netflix, social media, just enough dopamine to keep you sedated. And you decorated your cage. You made it cozy. You invited friends over to see your cage. You posted pictures of your cage online and waited for likes. You branded your imprisonment as adulting. You called your surrender maturity. You renamed your death stability. Let me tell you how the domestication happened. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't violent, it was slow, gradual, almost invisible. First, they taught you to sit still. Remember school? 8 hours a day. Sit down, be quiet, don't question, don't move, don't think too much. Just memorize what we tell you and repeat it back on the test. For 12 years, they trained you like a dog. Sit, stay, good boy, here's your grade, here's your gold star, here's your diploma. Then came the job. Show up on time, follow the rules, don't rock the boat, do what you're told, don't ask why, just execute. Be grateful you have a job, be grateful for your paycheck, be grateful for your cubicle. Sit, stay, good employee. Here's your salary, here's your performance review, here's your 2 weeks of vacation per year. And somewhere in there, you got the house, the car, the mortgage, the credit cards, the subscriptions, the responsibilities. And suddenly, you couldn't leave, even if you wanted to. Because leaving means losing everything. Leaving means starting over. Leaving means being judged. Leaving means being called irresponsible, crazy, a failure. So, you stay. You stay in the job you hate. You stay in the relationship that drains you. You stay in the city that suffocates you. You stay in the life that doesn't fit you. You stay because leaving is scary, and comfort is comfortable. But here's the question nobody asks. What is comfort actually costing you? What dreams died so you could have that couch? What adventures were sacrificed for that steady paycheck? What versions of yourself were murdered so you could fit into what was expected? What did you give up to become this? I'll tell you what you gave up. Your wildness, your spontaneity, your curiosity, your rebellion, your fire. You gave up the parts of you that were alive. In exchange for what? Security? Please, there's no such thing as security. Your job could disappear tomorrow. Your savings could evaporate. Your health could fail. Your relationship could end. The only thing you truly secured was the guarantee that you'll never know what you were capable of. And don't give me that excuse. But I have responsibilities. But I have bills to pay. But I have people depending on me. You know what those are? Those are the chains you chose, and you keep choosing them every single day. I'm not saying abandon your children. I'm not saying become homeless. I'm saying wake up and realize that you have more options than you've convinced yourself you have. You're not trapped. You're just comfortable with your trap. There's a difference. Here's what really happened. Society made a deal with you, an unspoken contract. It goes like this. Give us your time, give us your energy, give us your youth, give us your dreams, give us your obedience, and in return, we'll give you just enough to survive, just enough to not revolt, just enough to keep you hoping that someday, you'll finally be happy. And you signed it without reading the fine print. The fine print that said happiness sold separately, dreams not included, fulfillment not guaranteed, life may feel empty despite following all instructions. You traded your one life, the only life you'll ever have, for a paycheck and a retirement plan. You sold your present for a future that might never come. And the saddest part? You don't even realize you made this trade, because everyone around you made the same trade. Your parents made it, your friends made it, your coworkers made it. Everyone's in the same cage, so it must be normal, right? It must be just how life works. But let me ask you something else. Who told you that's how life works? Who wrote these rules? Who decided this is what success looks like? Was it you? Did you decide that happiness means a 401k and a 2-car garage? Or did someone else decide that for you, and you just accepted it? Here's the truth. The system doesn't want you to be happy. It wants you to be functional. It wants you to show up, consume, obey, reproduce, and die without making too much noise. Your happiness is irrelevant to the system. Your fulfillment doesn't increase GDP. Your joy doesn't boost quarterly earnings. Your self-actualization doesn't pay taxes. So the system doesn't optimize for your happiness. It optimizes for your compliance. And compliance is easy when you're domesticated, when you're too tired to question, too distracted to think, too scared to leave, too comfortable to change. Look around you right now. I mean, really look. Look at your surroundings, your life, your daily routine. Is this what you imagined when you were young? Is this the life you dreamed of? Is this what you stayed up at night fantasizing about? Or is this just what happened because you stopped choosing and started accepting? The tragedy of domestication isn't that you're in a cage. The tragedy is that you've forgotten you're in a cage. You've lived in it so long that the bars have become invisible. You've adapted, adjusted, normalized. You call your cage responsibility. You call your chains commitments. You call your surrender growing up. And anyone who suggests there might be another way, you call them crazy, irresponsible, immature, unrealistic. Because if they're free, then what does that make you?
So here we are. You've been domesticated. Congratulations. You've achieved what billions before you achieved, a life of quiet desperation disguised as normalcy. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's where I stop being the messenger of bad news and become something else. Because I'm not here to just point out your cage, I'm here to hand you the key. The question is, do you have the guts to use it? Let's find out. First, let's address the elephant in the room, the voice in your head right now, the one that's been screaming at me this entire time. But what about my mortgage? But what about my family? But what about health insurance? But I can't just quit my job. But I have responsibilities. Yes, you do. And you know what? Those responsibilities are real. I'm not denying that. I'm not some trust funds philosopher telling you to abandon everything and live in a van. But here's what I am saying. Your responsibilities are not the same as your identity. You are not your job. You are not your mortgage. You are not your car payment. You are not your credit score. Those are things you have, not things you are. And the moment you confused having with being, that's the moment the domestication was complete. You started believing that losing your job means losing yourself. that financial struggle means personal failure, that taking a risk means being irresponsible. But that's not truth, that's programming. And the first step to freedom is recognizing the difference. Let me show you something. Think about a wild animal for a second. A wolf, a hawk, a dolphin. What makes them wild? It's not that they don't have challenges, they do. They hunt for food, they protect their young, they face danger, they struggle to survive. But here's the difference, they're alive while they do it. They haven't traded their nature for convenience, they haven't given up their instincts for comfort. They live with risk, uncertainty, and danger, and they're more themselves because of it, not despite it. Now look at a domesticated dog. Fed, safe, comfortable, predictable, and completely dependent, completely controlled, completely tamed. Which one are you? Which one do you want to be? Here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow without a plan. I'm not saying abandon your responsibilities. I'm not saying burn your life down. What I am saying is this. Stop pretending your cage doesn't exist. Stop decorating it and calling it freedom. Stop defending your chains like they're choices. Acknowledge the cage. See it for what it is. Feel it. Because you can't escape something you won't admit you're in. Now let's talk about what freedom actually looks like. And no, it's not a beach in Bali with a laptop and a coconut. That's just another form of domestication with better marketing. Real freedom isn't a location. It's not a bank account. It's not a lifestyle brand. Real freedom is internal. It's the ability to look at your life and say, I chose this. Not because I had to, not because I was scared not to, but because I genuinely wanted this. Can you say that right now? About your job, your relationship, your city, your daily routine? Can you honestly say you chose this life? Or did this life just happen while you were too busy surviving to notice? Here's the hard part. Freedom requires something most people aren't willing to give. It requires you to disappoint people, to break expectations, to be misunderstood, to be judged, to be called selfish, to be called crazy. It requires you to face the one thing domestication protects you from, uncertainty. Because here's the deal. The cage is comfortable because it's predictable. You know what happens next. You know where your next meal comes from. You know you'll have a roof over your head. But freedom? Freedom is terrifying. Freedom means you don't know what happens next. Freedom means you might fail. You might struggle. You might lose things. And that's why most people stay in the cage. Not because they don't want freedom, but because they're not willing to pay the price for it. They want freedom, but only if it's comfortable, only if it's safe, only if it's guaranteed. But that's not freedom. That's just a bigger cage. Let me tell you what the domestication industry doesn't want you to know. You are more capable than you think, more resilient, more adaptable, more powerful. They need you to believe you're fragile, that you can't handle discomfort, that you need them, that you need the system, that you need the safety net. Because if you realized how strong you actually are, you'd leave, you'd take risks, you'd build something new, you'd become uncontrollable. And uncontrollable people are bad for business. The entire economy depends on your fear, your self-doubt, your need for approval, your addiction to comfort. If you stopped being afraid, stopped needing permission, stopped seeking validation, the whole system would collapse. That's how powerful you are, and they know it. That's why they work so hard to make you forget it. Every advertisement telling you you're not enough without their product. Every social media algorithm feeding you comparison and envy. Every news story designed to make you feel scared and helpless. It's all designed to keep you small, keep you scared, keep you domesticated. Because free people don't consume mindlessly. Free people don't obey blindly. Free people don't trade their lives for scraps. So what do you do now? You start small. You start where you are. You don't have to burn everything down. You don't have to make some grand dramatic exit. You just have to start making conscious choices instead of unconscious ones. Ask yourself every day, am I choosing this or am I just accepting this? That job you hate, are you choosing to stay because it serves your bigger vision? Or are you just too scared to leave? That relationship that drains you, are you choosing to work on it? Or are you just afraid of being alone? That city you complain about, are you choosing to be there, or are you just too comfortable to move? See the difference? Choice has power. Acceptance is surrender. Here's your homework. Do one thing this week that scares you. Not fake fear, real fear, the kind that makes your hands shake. It doesn't have to be big. Have a conversation you've been avoiding. Apply for a job you think you're not qualified for. Start the project you've been putting off for years. Just do one thing that proves to yourself that you're not completely domesticated yet, that there's still some wildness left in you. Because here's the truth. You're going to die. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 50 years, but you're going to die. And when you're on your deathbed, you won't regret the risks you took. You'll regret the risks you didn't take. You'll regret the safe choices, the comfortable choices, the choices you made because you were afraid of what people might think. You'll regret the life you didn't live because you were too busy protecting the life you didn't even want. So let me ask you one final question. Are you going to stay in the cage? It's comfortable there. It's safe. It's predictable. No one will judge you. Everyone else is in there too. Or are you going to take the key I just gave you and at least try the door? Maybe it's locked. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's been unlocked this entire time and you just never checked. But you'll never know unless you try. And honestly, I don't care what you choose. This isn't about me. This is about you. I'm just the voice reminding you that you have a choice, that you've always had a choice. You just forgot. So here's my final message. Congratulations, you've been successfully domesticated. Now what are you going to do about it? The cage door is right there. It's been there the whole time. All you have to do is walk through it. But you have to choose to walk. No one can do it for you. No one can save you from your own comfort. This is your life, your one life. Are you going to live it, or are you going to let it live you? The choice has always been yours. It still is. Now, choose.